Hello, how's it going, everybody? I thought I'd just make a little vloggy. It's not going to be a long one. Um, it is Friday evening, just chilling out, relaxing, absolutely melting, sweltering, absolutely uncomfortable. I have got my football shirt on. This is my new 26-27 Hull City shirt for the Premier League season. Um, So I'm wearing this because this sort of material is perfect for being in hot weather. It helps with fluids that it tries to escape from your bodies. That's an interesting way to put it, I guess. But yeah, I am absolutely sweltering. It feels like I've got thermal gear on at the moment. It's that muggy. It is that muggy and that dry. It's just the air is so dry. One thing I've never witnessed it. I've never had it happen. But everybody in the UK right now, or at least about half an hour ago at least, or probably by the time this is uploaded, probably over an hour, maybe, I don't know, whatever. But as of today, as of half an hour ago, prior to recording this, we had a emergency alert come over on my phone from the government, UK government, saying about potential risks of wildfires. Um, dispose of barbecues. Don't don't leave barbecues unattended. Any sort of naked flame, anything that generates a flame, like cigarette butts, things like that. Discard of it properly. This is really kind of strange to be living in the UK and actually receiving a really major threat, a letter threat, or not threat, but an alert warning. I've never seen that happen ever. I've never seen that ever, and I'm 36 years old, and I've never had one of those go over my phone. It's kind of when it first happened, I really did crap myself. I almost crapped myself because I thought, shit, is there something approaching the planet? At one point, I thought, is this going to be like Deep Impact, the film Deep Impact, or Armageddon, the film Armageddon, where something's going to enter Earth's atmosphere and destroy humanity as we know it. Hopefully that'll never happen. Touch wood. Um, but yeah, that has never happened. That has never happened to me ever. I've never witnessed that in my life. That was actually really weird. That was actually kind of strange. And yeah, never had that before. But no, it has to be said. It's all well and good having this real nice, having a bit of sun. It's all well and good having this sort of sun and having some nice weather, which the UK doesn't get that much of. We get pitter patters of it here and there, but it is really strange that we have not had much rainfall at all for quite a bit of time now. And it's getting warmer. It's not getting cooler, it's warming. It goes cooler and then it just rises again. Today and yesterday were probably the hottest days that I've experienced. Um, I mean, those that have never been to the UK, those that maybe live in America and that, because I know in America they're having some major issues, and I think there's been issues in Canada as well with wildfires. Obviously, America, they have wildfires fairly a lot, quite a lot, because they have such a dry climate there, and fires are sort of starting up because the ground's too dry. The foliage, like the trees and everything, it's just so dry. So the most little bit of any sort of like anything that a little amber or spark, it causes a chain reaction, and you end up with a massive big wall of flame coming to your house. Um, it is a really interesting situation to have that here in the UK, because the UK is not a dry we do have the UK. Our climate in the UK is typically not a dry one. It is relatively quite a you know it is relatively a I won't say yeah, it's more like more wet. It's always usually raining, and it's always usually a lot cooler. Yes, we are in peak summer right now, so it's not like we are in peak summer. We're having a bit of a heat wave right now, which is fine, uh, but yeah, it's this heat wave we've been having, and we've literally I've only witnessed it rain a little bit, and then I'm talking about it lasted minutes, not even minutes, probably 5 minutes. Uh, I've only witnessed it attempt to rain about here, where I live in Hull, anyways. Where I live, I've only witnessed it rain within this past month or two. I'd say it's well over a month. I've only witnessed it rain a little bit, maybe about 3 or 4 times, and the there's not enough rainfall. It is literally just it starts spitting, and then it's gone within like 5 or 10 minutes, and it's not enough to douse the floor, douse the ground. You see, and try and minimize any risks of anything happening. Um, but it is so muggy and dry. You can feel it in the air that it's just there's barely any moisture. And when you start feeling that there's barely any, because my lips are cracking as well, because any sort of things like that where your skin starts to dry up or your lips start cracking up, that is a telltale sign that there's not enough moisture in the air. So it's not, you know what I mean? There's not enough moisture, and you end up in these situations. All it takes is some moron to go and discard a cigarette butt, don't think anything of it, or some family or somebody decides to get the barbecue out, have a little barbecue, and not get rid of it properly, or chuck some water on top of it or something. If it's one of them disposable ones, because it's the disposable ones that are the risk. I think the disposable ones are the main risk because a lot of people just put them on the floor. They don't really come with any sort of a proper base. All it takes is for someone to accidentally kick it without really knowing, or leave it unattended for a period of time, and it ends up falling over and ends up catching something, and there you go. Just the catalyst is there, the start of a catalyst, and it just stop. Chain reaction goes on. It is really weird. I just wanted to make a little vlog here and just document it for memory's sake, because it is literally the first time in 36 years that I've had an emergency alert come up on my phone, or I've at least witnessed it myself. I've no idea if it has happened in the 36 years I've been living on this planet, unless it's happened when I've been in bed, asleep, and my dad's seen it, or my mum has in the past. I don't know, but that is really, really weird. It is absolutely unreal to have that happen. And especially in the UK, when we are not typically a dry climate, we are pretty wet climate, because it's probably sunny 1 minute, next minute, or we have about 6 seasons in one day. I mean, it's so strange to go so long without any sort of sufficient rainfall. That is what really puzzles me. Of Because the longer you go without rain, the more you're going to get. I can see us having flash floods. I know this sounds really awful to say, but Hull has flooded at least 2 or 3 times, maybe no, twice. Within the last, I think, the last 10 years. I can't remember now, but it's been a little bit of a while since the last time Hull flooded. Um, But I have witnessed Hull flooded twice due to we ended up having quite a bit of a length of heat wave a couple times, and we didn't have any rain for quite a bit, and then all of a sudden the heavens opened and we got over. I think we got like 2 months of rain in just 24 hours in just one day. We ended up getting about the last time it happened, I think it was reported on the weather people saying that it is literally like almost like 2 months of rainfall in just one day. The River Humber burst its banks. Um, Luckily, where I live in Hessel flooded as well. Where I live, Hessel flooded. All of Hull flooded. Hull city centre flooded. Um, Basically, a lot of the surrounding areas, there was a lot of problems because there is some parts of Hull where there a lot of homes and a lot of people's homes are built on something called a fault line, where or a no a high risk flood area basically, not that yeah it's like known as a high risk flooding area. A lot of the homes that were built post war, like a lot of the new homes where they ended up trying to get more homes for people after the war when they started rebuilding and repairing everything after the Second World War, post Second World War, and they started like getting rid of the old terraces, the old homes, the old homes, and started like building new up to date ones. So like from like late 50 like sorry like late 40s throughout the like 50s 60s, you started getting a lot of like estates coming up, like people like building like estates, housing estates, and things like that, high rise flats and things like that started being erected over the course of through this right up until now basically. So basically more modern homes, and as a result of that, they didn't do proper risk assessments. They didn't do proper risk assessments or survey the land very well, and they're kind of like cost cutting here and there in some regards of what happened in the past. And so some of I'm not saying this isn't just Hull. There's probably other places that are in the same situation, but I do know from Hull's standpoint, risk assessments wasn't done properly, and it wasn't surveyed as thoroughly as it should have been. And some of the areas that ended up flooding when Hull flooded ended up those homes ended up under something like God knows a lot of water, and it basically just those homes were destroyed. Basically, not destroyed, but you know what I mean. They were submerged underwater, because there was in a high risk flooding area because there's just no defense. They're in like almost like a basin. The way that the land works is like any homes that is in an area that is almost like a basin, the water is naturally just going to run into that basin. It's just going to fill like a bathtub, and that's basically what happened in those areas. And also, you've got underground sewers, which ended up flooding as well. So basically, yeah, the underground sewer system in Hessel, in Hull, all that ended up getting backlogged and ended up mixing with the water from the river and all that. It was really bad. It was really, really bad. Luckily, where I live, where my house is, luckily we live like up a hill. Um, Basically, we live on like a gradient of a hill. So basically, all the water luckily went down the street, and just collected in the square at Hessel Square at the bottom of my street. So it just literally just collected into what is like a basin at the bottom. But luckily, we escaped being flooded ourselves, which is really fortunate that we live on a like slight incline, which kind of saved our the property we're in, which is really good, and glad that that didn't happen because obviously, yeah. So, um, yeah, it's been bad. It has been really bad in the past, and I honestly, because we're technically in like a drought. We are technically in well, we are in a drought. We're in a bit of a drought situation where water reserves are going to start, like natural water reserves, like is going to start problems. Um, there's probably going to be if it carries on anymore, they'll have to implement a hose ban again. I think they have. I think they have in some parts of the UK. I think they've already. Some parts of the UK already have a hose pipe ban in place. I don't think it's coming into the whole area, but I can see that happening. I honestly can see that happening soon. But yeah, it's mental. It is absolutely bloody mental. Having something like that come over my phone when Hull typically is not a dry climate, but yet at the moment it feels like we are in California or Texas or whatever, or Canada or anywhere that usually is much more of a drier climate. Um, but yeah, I honestly can see some hard times for people in the UK if this carries on. I mean, I don't know if I mean, obviously, I can only base this on where I live in Hull because I've only witnessed it literally attempt to rain a couple times over the past month or over a month, more than over a month. And I just remember from experience the last time this happened, where we had a pretty bit of a drought and heat wave problem. We ended up flooding because we had so much rain all of a sudden, and it caused the River Humber to burst its banks, and caused issues with the sewers. Um, yeah, I can honestly. I mean, hopefully it won't happen. People probably might watch this and say, "God, you really are looking into this too deeply." But I'm just maybe I am a little bit. Maybe I am looking into it a little bit too deeply for what it is. But it's serious, and it is a serious. It is serious enough for that for the UK government to send a warning to everybody's phone. That's like I said, in 36 years, I've never witnessed that myself. So that's why I'm kind of taking it a little bit more to heart because it is a situation right now that it could happen. We could end up with massive fires being not in Hull specifically. It could be anywhere in the UK right now. Um, but we definitely need some rain. Not a bloody not on about like flooding rain, but we definitely need some kind of sufficient rainfall to help douse the dryness of the ground and get some moisture into the air a bit. But I did see earlier, funnily enough, it's kind of strange, but I did see that we are supposed to be getting a storm. I got a weather alert, nothing to do with the government alert, but I noticed earlier that it says storms in your area expected. Um, it is looking quite overcast outside right now. I mean, it's going on for 8 o'clock in the evening right now, and it is really grey, and it is well, obviously it's getting dark anyway because it's nighttime, well, evening, but it usually doesn't go pitch black until probably after 9 o'clock. Like between nine and half nine is when it starts to like pitch black. So but it is a lot more dull outside than it was about an hour ago. But no, I'd say half an hour ago. So within the last half an hour, it has gotten a lot darker outside. So maybe maybe, I hope so, because we definitely need a thunderstorm. We need some kind of thunderstorm or some kind of something to break through, because we definitely need some rainfall. But anyway, so there's my really interesting vlog I just wanted to share with you. But yeah, there we go. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, please remember to like, share, and subscribe if you did. If you did, and it greatly helps the channel. Thank you so much. Keep safe, stay safe. Dispose of any sort of naked flame, barbecues, anything like that. Make sure it's all disposed of properly. Do not leave anything unattended or flick a cigarette butt, anything like that. Do not do anything like that. End of the day, keep safe, stay safe, be sensible, and we should all be good. Take care. See you soon.